My name is Michael Williams.
I'm Julia Penner-Zook, and we're relationship coaches with YouAndMe.we. Many of us are either married or we have long-term committed relationships. And what I've found is that we don't necessarily focus on those relationships a lot. What we talk about and think about is actually our work, our kids, our schedule, our mortgage, things that stress us out.
And when this happens, we stop having fun, we stop laughing together, and we start to grow apart. We become less intimate.
So why does that happen?
Well, one of the reasons that it happens is because of the way that we communicate with each other.
I think that's right. We communicate negatively with each other.
Exactly.
Some people, depending on personality, will start withdrawing, and they will either leave the room or they'll disengage, and so there's a distance that grows with that.
Now, something else that people do is they begin to do what we call, they invalidate each other. That is, they say, oh, that's not important, or why are you bringing that up again? So they make the other person feel like what they're saying is not important, and so therefore you're not important.
Right, exactly. And then other people, depending on how their relationship is and their personalities, they'll actually argue a lot. One person will say something negative, the other one will top that, and soon you're really in each other's faces, and it's very, very negative, maybe even hostile.
Exactly. Now, something else that we do, and this used to be one of my favorite ones, is that we misinterpret what the other person is saying or what they're doing. So we call this negative interpretation. That is, someone comes home later, they don't call, and so we automatically think, well, they're cheating, or they're just doing this to get on my nerves.
Right. So all of us actually do these kinds of things. What we're saying is we can't make it the norm.
Exactly.
These are really destructive patterns that could jeopardize a very stable and harmonious relationship.
That's right.
So then what do you do about that?
Well, the one thing that we have to do first is become aware that we're even doing these things.
Oh, right.
And the awareness helps us understand that we're not having the kind of relationship environment that we'd really like to have. And by relationship environment, we're talking about having one that's fun, that's peaceful, where we're able to communicate more naturally and openly.
And basically nurturing, having a nurturing environment.
Right.
So awareness is a great start, but we can't just be aware.
Exactly.
What do we do?
Well, what we're going to do right now is actually give you two very specific strategies or techniques that you can use to become more aware and to create the kind of relationship environment that we know that we all want.
Right.
The first strategy is to catch ourselves in these kinds of interactions. So if I find myself invalidating, I have to become aware. I have to stop and catch myself invalidating the other person.
So basically just to stop.
Exactly.
And once we've stopped and recognized that, just to step back a little bit and give yourself time to think about what just happened and how can I change that? What do I want to have happen instead? So it's a stopping and then a reflecting.
Exactly. So in this video, what we've done is we've shared with you essentially 4 ways that are kind of negative,
They are.
that are destructive, that people interact. And so what was the first one, Julie?
When we withdraw and we just take ourselves out of the equation in a sense.
Exactly. And the second one that we talked about was invalidation. And then the third one?
We talked about how we escalate and arguments happen.
And then the final one was negative interpretation. Now, what we want to share with you in this video is that there is hope, and the hope is that we become aware that this is exactly what we're doing, but there are some things we can do about it, and we just share with you 2 very specific techniques. The first one was to stop and catch yourself in the interaction, and then the second one was
to give yourself time to reflect and to see what happened and what we would rather do.
Right. Now, in the very next video, right, we're going to share with them what?
We're going to talk more about why we do these things, some of the differences that exist in people, their relationships and personalities. But in addition to that, I want to make people aware that we do offer services in the community. If you look just below the screen, you'll see a couple of links. You can go in there, click in there, and see what we have available in terms of free workshops in the community.
Well, thank you very much, Julia. My name is Michael Williams.
And I'm Julia Penner-Zook.
And we're relationship coaches with YouAndMe.we.